Hello and welcome to the Servlet tutorial number 6. My name is Arjun. Today we are going to learn Servlet cookie. This is part A of the cookie tutorial. HTTP is a stateless protocol. What that means is hypertext transfer protocol does not maintain the state of the communication. What I mean by this is, in a typical client-server communication, a client sends requests and server does some processing and then sends some response to the client. Being stateless means that the client is sending some request, then server is not maintaining the state of the previous request that was sent by the client. Means once the client sends a request, server processes it, gives the response back. Now when the client makes another request, say request number 2, then the server altogether forgets about the request number 1 from the client. What that means is the server altogether forgets the client. Means the server does not maintain the state of the communication. Have you ever gone to the Gmail or any application for that matter where they remember your password? Something like this. Here, this is the login page of Gmail where Gmail typically remembers your username and then password. So whenever you log in, on the right corner they may display your name and some other information as well. So you go from one page to other, but on every single page you can see your name or your photograph depending upon the application that you are using. So how does Gmail do that? HTTP is a stateless protocol. Then how does Gmail remembers your name or your password or any user information for that matter? So even if HTTP is a stateless protocol, we have to provide some mechanism to HTTP so that HTTP can maintain the state of the communication. So how does it do that? So to maintain the state of communication between a client and a server, a Java application typically uses a session. So a session is nothing but a persistent network connection between two hosts. So in this case, one host is client and other host is server. So to maintain the state of the communication, Java application uses a session. And now a session can be maintained in different ways. A session can be maintained using cookies. And if the cookies are disabled for any reason, then a session can be maintained without using cookies. So in this tutorial we will learn how do we maintain a session. That means how do we maintain a persistent connection between a client and server using cookies. So let's get started. What is a cookie? So a cookie is nothing but it is a user specific information. What it means is a cookie is a kind of key value pair. I'll show you it just in a moment. So in cookie there is a username, then user password, and the user's other personal information may be there in the cookie. So whenever the client makes first request to a server, it makes a request, and apart from that it sends a cookie, means a key value pair, where the client sends its username and password to the server. Now the server processes that request and sends some response back to the client. So for all the subsequent request and response that are going on between this client and the server, a cookie is always shared between these two hosts so that the server can remember the client. This is how this Gmail server is actually remembering you. In fact, the Gmail server, or any server for that matter, does not remember your username or password. What it does is, whenever you enter your username and password for the first time, the browser will ask you if you want to remember the password, or in case your browser cookies are enabled, it will automatically save your username and password. And whenever you go to the Gmail for the second time, the browser automatically sets these values using the cookie, and for your subsequent requests and responses, those cookie values are always used. So I'll just show you how does a browser stores the cookie. Let me open up the Google Chrome. In Google Chrome, go to the settings, or even if you are using some other browser, there are similar options. Go to the settings, then go to show advanced settings, content settings. Here you can see all the cookies that are set here. So initially I don't have any cookie, so once we write a program for cookies, you will see that some cookies are coming here, and then you can also see the username and password values here.